Before we get into this video, I just wanted to welcome you to the channel. For those of you who are new, and if you are returning, welcome back. I'm happy to have you. So, let's get straight to it. We got Dragon Ball to talk about. King Goma's wish is granted, and Goku and his friends are turned back into children. Shenron says farewell, but before he leaves, Goma calls out to him, asking why they only got one wish when they were supposed to get three. Shenron tells them, interestingly enough, that since they're first-timers, they get one wish, and if you're a regular, like Goku in the gang, you get three wishes, which is really interesting, and that actually explains a few things for us. For example, in Dragon Ball Super Broly, when she makes her wish to save Broly from Gogeta, she only got one wish, being a first-timer. And back in ROF, when Sorbet made his wishes, or the wishes that he made in order to bring Frieza back, he only got one wish himself, while the Pilaf gang, who had made a wish in the past, was able to get two wishes prior to him. So it's very interesting. We got a new little lore bit there with the Dragon Balls, and it actually, it's a nice change. It's sometimes when we get changes, it can be a little confusing, but this one actually clears up some stuff, which is always really nice. Goma then asks Neva if he could use his magic again to bring the Dragon Balls back and use his magic to restore the Dragon Balls so that they could use the wishes again, or another wish. But Neva states that no, he can't do it again, and so that negates the theory that people have had that he might be able to spam the Dragon Balls and get infinite wishes. He's cracked, but he's not that cracked. Goma then decides that they should take Dende, who's now just a defenseless little baby. Seeing as with him being gone, the Earth Dragon Balls would not be able to be used to undo the wish. Goma then decides that it would be best for them to take Dende and use him as insurance, but also to cut off use of the Earth Dragon Balls so that they can't be used to undo the wish. And in a really cool revelation, we get to see Mr. Popo for the very first time in 40 years of Dragon Ball without his turban on. And surprise, surprise, he has two horns on his head. He has two tiny little horns. And honestly, I just thought he was going to be bald. I thought he was just going to have a shiny bald head just like Chaozu. But he's got two horns. As we learned last week, he is also from the Demon Realm, hence the pointy ears. Dende is taken, and Goma, Degasu, and Neva return to the Demon Realm. In a panic, Goku and the others now realize that they're children, but they're still themselves. They still have their memories, their knowledge is still intact, but they're in their small bodies again. Even Goten and Trunks somehow are still able to communicate with each other as literally just crawling babies. It's almost like they're using telepathy. It could also just be internal dialogue, but from the way it's portrayed, it's just them communicating with each other still. They're just themselves, but in baby form. We get a really funny moment with Vegeta and Mr. Satan, where Mr. Satan realizes that only they were turned into children, and the staff and everyone else who's not part of the Z Warriors or, the Dragon Team are still adults. And so whatever happened only happened to them. And then Vegeta just stares at him for a minute. He's like, "Who are you?" he had no idea who he was. He doesn't look anything like he used to. And so I think that was some classic Toriyama humor right there. Supreme Kai tells Goku, he says that they had sensed unpleasant energy coming from the lookout. So Goku, he tries to fly off to investigate, but he starts swerving and then he ends up crashing into a table. Master Roshi comes up. He looks really funny. He looks cool. I like his young design, but I'm surprised he doesn't have hair though. As I remember, I think in flashbacks we see him. He has a whole head of hair when he was younger, but it is what it is. But he tells Goku, he's like, "Hey, I think what's going on is you don't have balance in your body anymore, or you're not used to the balance of your body, and that you need to get the balance back in order to fly and do whatever you used to be able to do." Ibito, he then uses the Kai Kai to teleport Goku and the others to the lookout to find out what happened. There they find Mr. Popo all by himself, and he explains what had happened. Shin, Supreme Kai, he's shocked to find out that the energy that he had sensed was from the Demon Realm, and that his brother Degasu was there. They also learned that the Namekian Neva was there, which really surprised Piccolo I didn't think he was going to know who he was, because the way they spoke about him and have portrayed him. He seems to be super old, like ancient among ancient Namekians. But Piccolo knows him, but he only knows of him through stories. He never met him, but he is a legendary Namek who remained in the demon realm long ago. They learn about King Goma as well. Supreme Kai states that even they can't teleport, which is really interesting. They can't teleport or use their Kai to get to the demon realm, but they're able to use it to get to Otherworld, to the Kaioshin realm, to even to Zeno's palace. But for some reason, the demon realm is just different. It has different rules or conditions that just doesn't allow teleportation. The only way to get there is with special permission or a special plane or ship. While they're discussing all of this, Goku he's trying to practice with his body just to try to regain, his, all his movement, his abilities, to regain his balance with his new body or his young body again. And Piccolo, he tells him, he comes up and kind of criticizes Goku. He's like, "Hey, remember, you have to find the balance in your body." And he asks him, he's like, "Well, what about you? Are you able to do the same thing?" And so Piccolo, he tries to fly and he just goes face first into a tree and he just has a bloody nose, and it's a pretty funny scene. Supreme Kai then has an idea, and Kibito, he teleports back to the Kaioshin realm, and then he returns in a few moments later. It's really cool. It's a really cool display, I think, of how fast their teleportation really is. He's gone. Couple seconds pass and he returns, and he's holding a ship with him, or he has a ship with him. Then Supreme Kai tells them that he used this old ship to come to the living universe long ago. It's ancient and it's covered in moss, and I don't know if it was considered an Easter egg, but it reminded me of when they discovered the time machine that Cell arrived in, which was, the one Trunks had in that other timeline where he got killed. But it was just covered in moss, and it looked really cool. Kind of like Kami's old ship, too. Realizing that the ship wasn't in a working condition, Goku suggests that they go and get Bulma, as she's the tech genius, that he believes, that she would be able to get that ship up and going. When she's right, because, as we all know, Bulma is the genius. She's the tech whiz, and she could get anything like that operational. Kibito then arrives with Vegeta and Bulma, and after observing the ship for just a few moments too, she realizes that it's damaged, and Shin, he explains that it was damaged. It was already old, but it was damaged even more during the fight with Goku and Kid Buu. It's really cool because right here we get to see some really, really pretty and really awesome visuals of the fight between Goku and Buu, and it just looks amazing. It's so pretty. Dragon Ball Daima is a beautiful series so far, and I'm very happy with how they've been doing this. Bulma states that she can fix the ship, but it would take her 10 days. She then uses Kibito to return to Capsule Corp to get her supplies, and 2 days pass by, actually. And so during these 2 days, Goku, he's on the lookout, and he's training, regaining, his balance with his body, and we see him make progress. He's able to fly again, but he notices that his punches and kicks are coming up short, and he's not used to having his short limbs again. And so Goku gets an idea here. Goku takes off and he goes to visit Korin, the guardian of, Korin Tower directly below the lookout. And I love Korin. We haven't seen him in a long time. I mean, not super long, but he hasn't had much involvement in a long time, and it's always cool when they go back and see him. We get to see those old, friends and these cool characters. As Goku goes to visit Korin, Vegeta, he talks with the Supreme Kai, and he asks if everybody from the demon realm had pointy ears, or if every person who has pointy ears, if they were from the demon realm. And he tells him no. He says that not everybody who has pointy ears is from the demon realm, but that it's safe to bet that most of them are, which is really interesting. So, yeah, that's just a little clarity for us, I think, because, some people were theorizing a lot that certain characters may have come from the demon realm, which is, it's possible, but now we just know for a fact that not every single person who has pointy ears is from the demon realm. Not everyone with pointy ears is the same, in other words. Kibito then tells us that long ago, Majin, not Majin Buu, demon folk or people from the demon realm, they used to live in the demon realm, but some of them started slipping out of the demon realm and spread throughout the living universe to take over planets in search for freedom. Leaving in the demon realm was eventually banned, and so that's why you're not able to come and go as you please, which is really interesting because, I wonder what exactly were they trying to escape. It seems to be that it was likely just from the demon kings, like Dabura and Abura, his father. So maybe they were the ones they were trying to escape from. Bulma then makes some progress on the ship and asks Kibito if he would be willing to go and pick up some takeout that she had ordered for them to eat. And it's just funny throughout this episode, like Kibito, he's just going back and forth running all these errands for her, and it's just pretty funny. You just kind of see him just kind of starting to get a little more frustrated because he doesn't like to be told what to do, and he doesn't hate mortals, but he's not a fan of them. Goku arrives at Korin's tower, and he asks where his power pole, his Nioibo, is. But since nobody used it for a long time, because most people can fly, I'm pretty sure Bulma has been able to fly her plane there, but he says that he gave it to Master Roshi. He gave it to him for safekeeping since nobody used it. And so Goku, he rushes off to Roshi's house. And it's funny. So he gets to Master Roshi's house, and so Roshi, he's in his house. He's just kind of looking at himself. He's just flexing and posing, and he's super excited to be young again. And so Goku shows up, and he's like, "Hey, Master Roshi, I'm here for the Nioibo. Where is it?" And he's like, "Oh, the Nioibo." He's like, "Gosh, I actually don't remember." And it takes me back to original Dragon Ball, where Goku goes to get the Bancho fan, where he goes to get the fan to put out the fire on Mount Frying Pan, or the Ox King's house. And it's just like that. Roshi's just like, "Oh yeah, where did I put that thing? It's such a small house. I don't know how he loses things so easily." But luckily for Goku and everyone else, Turtle is there, and he's on the ball. He knows that the Nioibo is being used to hang laundry. So it's such a good moment. I love those little humor bits. Just always make me smile. Goku then returns to the lookout, and he starts flexing on everybody. He's showing off his skill with the power pole. I'm just gonna call it power pole. It's just it's just easier. We know it's the Nioibo. So he starts flexing on everybody with it. He's just showing off his skill, and it's really cool. This is animated right here by Yuya Takahashi. He had some of those amazing moments throughout Dragon Ball Super. Just a phenomenal animator, and this is really cool because I think this is a glimpse for us on what we can expect in the future of Dragon Ball Daima as far as choreography and what these fights are going to look like. I think we're in for a real treat. They sit down for a delicious meal, and Goku asks Piccolo if he remembers anything from the Demon Realm. Piccolo states that he wasn't actually born back then, when the Namekians lived there, but he had heard stories that the Namekians who used to live there used to live in a really nice place, but they soon left because the Namekians don't like to be ruled. In a flash of light overhead, another ship appeared seemingly out of nowhere, and we learned that it is Glorio. He's the new Majin, who we were introduced to in early, not leaks, but early information about Daima. We got to see him. We got to see what he looks like. He's the one who looks like Mira, and the one who was spying on Goma and Degasu in the previous episode. So he arrives, and he asks Goku for help. He wants him to come to the Demon Realm and help defeat King Goma. The name also surprises Supreme Kai, and he actually mentions that Goma is apparently very powerful and crafty. And so, but, coming from the Supreme Kai, that can... just take what he says with that with a grain of salt, because he thought Pui Pui and Yakon, he thought they were extremely powerful too, and they kind of turned out to be chumps. But it does seem to be that Goma does have some pretty impressive power, because he actually promised Neva in the previous episode that he could grant thousands of years of life to him, and he's not referring to using the Dragon Balls, so he might have some very interesting abilities up his sleeve. Glorio, he learned about Goku from the magical monitor, as well as from the third demon realm, the king of the third demon realm. And so, from the sound of it, it sounds like there's different kings in each of these demon realm locations. So we have Goma, the supreme, who the proclaimed supreme demon king after Dabura's death, and now it seems that there's another demon king on one of these other areas that Glorio is working for, and is acting on behalf of. Supreme Kai, he then decides that he's going to go to the demon realm as well, along with Goku and Glorio, as he has knowledge of the demon realm, and he's really invested knowing that his younger brother Degetsu is involved. And he's going to have even a bigger surprise when he finds out his sister, his fine AF sister, Dr. Arinsu, is also there, and she's involved as well. So we're going to get a family reunion at some point, and I'm really excited for that. Before they take off to the demon realm, Bulma comes out and she asks Glorio, she's like, hey, can I study your ship for just a moment? I want to use it as a reference to, try to, get an understanding on how these things work. And he's like, okay. And so Bulma, she looks at this thing for just a few moments and it just clicks. It just clicks in her head. She's like, okay, now I know exactly what to do. Thank you. I've cut down the number of days that I'll need to repair Supreme Kai's ship to less time. And Bulma's just so cool. She's such a tech whiz. And as Goku even said, she's just a genius. She looks at this vehicle from an alternate dimension, and just a few seconds go by, and she's able to, after studying like a fresh one, and she's just able to figure it out. She's like, boom, I know what to do. And she's awesome. Bulma's great. I love when she gets to use her intelligence for this kind of stuff. Vegeta states he wants to go as well, but there's no room, and he unfortunately is going to have to wait until Bulma finishes the repairs. So Supreme Kai, Goku, and Glorio are the first three to take off. They leave in Glorio's ship and are on their way to the Demon Realm. My overall thoughts on this episode, it was a lot like last week. It was very pretty. It was well done. Obviously not a lot happened. Most series do not start off with the most intense and dramatic things. You have a build-up, and this is what they're doing. But we got we got new information. We got knowledge on the Dragon Balls. We got more knowledge on Shenron. We got knowledge on the Kaioshin as well as the Namekians, and even the Dragon Balls. The Demon Realm Dragon Balls. There's 3 Dragon Balls in the Demon Realm, starred 1 through 3. Each one is protected by a Tamagami that was created by Neva. And if you want to use those Dragon Balls, you have to fight the Tamagami and defeat them. I think my favorite parts of this episode might have been, other than like the new lore bits and knowledge, I think it was the intro and the outro. The song is just so beautiful. And we got to see amazing like snippets, like scenes and like art and stuff from throughout the Demon Realm. We got to see all these different images. We get to see the Tamagamis. We get to see a section of the Demon Realm that looks like Namek. It looks a lot like it, but it looks to be more, what's the word? It seems to be flourishing a little bit more. It's just prettier. It looks like there's more plant life and stuff like that. And we get little snippets of what these Tamagamis are like. We get to see their weapons. We get to see which star, each one of them has. We see from what it looked like, at least. It looks like one of them might be an underwater fight, which could be really cool because one of them has a Triton, or Trident, and they're underwater in that fight. And so we're in for some really special stuff, guys. It's a great time to be a Dragon Ball fan. I'm super happy with what they're doing with Dragon Ball Daima. I think it's a great time for any of you who are new to Dragon Ball to start with this. I think, if you're a fan of adventure, if you love fun characters, action, comedy, beautiful art, and even choreography, this is for you. This is definitely for you, and I highly recommend it. It's airing on Fuji TV on Fridays. I think it would be Saturday in Japan. But yeah, and so it airs on Fuji TV and Crunchyroll. I highly recommend it. If you get to have the chance or the means to watch it, do it. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. If you come into this with an open mind and are just looking for fun, you're going to find exactly what you're looking for. That's how Dragon Ball has always been. It's how it will always be. It will satisfy your cravings when it comes to action, adventure, comedy, the treasure hunting, which is something I'm really excited, and I hope they do like in original Dragon Ball, like where Goku and Bulma were hunting the Dragon Balls. They went to the pirate ship and just all these different locations to find the Dragon Balls, all these different obstacles and challenges, and I'm just smiling. I'm super happy. Thank you guys for coming by. Thumbs up for this episode. I'm just gonna say it was a 10 out of 10. You know, it gave us a little bit of everything. We got fun, we got comedy, we got lore bits and knowledge, beautiful animation, beautiful art, amazing music. But I'm sure this is gonna keep improving as it goes on. And again, any of you who came by, love you, appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. Take care. We'll catch you guys next week.